What's going on, Kings? It's Keefe. So to this point, I have been doing meditation for a little over 2 years every single day. And if I had to rank the self-development practices that have had the most profound impact on my life, this would be at the top. It wouldn't even be close. This is beyond NoFap. This is beyond even quitting smoking weed, cold showers, whatever you want to throw in there. This is the number one thing. And in this video, what I want to do is share with you why that is. I want to share with you 5 benefits and really awarenesses, experiences that occurred as a result of me doing daily meditation so that you can understand why this is so powerful. Now, before we get into that, hit the subscribe button and bell icon. This channel is all about helping you level up and become that high value winner of a man that you were born to be. So the first big benefit that I want to talk about is increased self-awareness, like at a massive scale. The amount of self-awareness that occurs from doing this is just life-changing. And I'm going to get into specifically one of the big ways that self-awareness will help you in your life later on in this video. But just as a general rule, self-awareness it cannot be underrated how important it is. And what meditation does for your self-awareness, to me, is kind of like what Google has done for information. So, for example, let's say 40 years ago, you wanted to go on a vacation. You're like, I want to go to California, and you live in, I don't know, Delaware right now, or some shit like that, right? And you decide, I want to go to California. Well, you've never been to California, and there's no internet for you to go on and look for hotels or Airbnbs and figure out what to do, figure out how much it's going to cost. So what did you have to do? You either had to go to a travel agent, and they'd have to give you all this information. You'd have to, I don't know, buy like a travel guide, do all this stuff. And it was this long drawn out process just to go on a vacation. Likewise, let's say there's a piece of information you want. You want to learn some subject that's going to help you with something. Well, 40 years ago, you either had to go to a library and hope that they had the book with the information on it. You had to buy the book, which meant you couldn't go on Amazon and just buy it. You had to go find it at a bookstore. If they didn't have it at a bookstore, you're going to have to find it in some catalog, get it sent to you. It was this whole long drawn out process, not to mention you couldn't pay for the book over the internet. So that process of getting this information you might want might take an entire year to learn all that information, whereas now you might be able to get all of that information you want in a day or two. So it's like remarkable how quick Google and the internet have made gathering information and knowledge. And self-awareness when it comes to meditation is the same way. So everybody over their life develops some form of self-awareness. Something will happen in your life that will cause you to notice a blind spot in yourself. Maybe it's like for you, a lot of guys have this happen when they take the red pill. They take the red pill because some girl did them badly. They got cheated on and it broke their heart, and they realized that whatever they were was not good enough and that they had blind spots in the way they were behaving. That's self-awareness, but it came through a lot of pain, and it's not that common of an occurrence. Now, when you start meditating, what happens is this process basically turns into like a Google search for self-awareness, and you start stepping back and realizing all the parts of yourself, all your biases, your blind spots, the way you've been thinking and acting and seeing yourself on an identity level in relation to what it is you want for yourself. And you start to notice how all these things have to do with the problems you're having in your life, have to do with the way you're thinking, the way you're acting, the way you're seeing things. And just self-awareness is just massive, because then you have the conscious ability to start moving in a different direction. The second big benefit from meditation is detachment from your thoughts. And this is really just about not taking your thoughts seriously. You could literally think basically in like a circle for the rest of your life, thinking the exact same thoughts. In fact, some people pretty much do. They spend decades of their life basically on the same thought train running in their head forever, and it never goes anywhere. This is just a hamster wheel going on in your head. And when you realize that's not you, it's just a bunch of racket in your head, you can kind of just step back from it. You can choose not to participate, whereas what most people do is they just indulge their inner dialogue their entire lives. Now, once you've stepped back from it, you have the ability to think in new ways. So let's say that you've been somebody who's been fearful your whole life or negative your whole life, and you've got this thought train that keeps running that way. Well, now thanks to the self-awareness you've already developed, and now you've detached from those thoughts, you can realize, oh, well, this is not even important. These thoughts don't mean anything, and you can start moving in another direction. I talked about in yesterday's video when I was talking about self-control how it's important to understand that your thoughts are not relevant. They're just related to the context of which you are feeling. So if you're feeling fearful, you're going to think fearful thoughts. If you're feeling lazy, you're going to think lazy thoughts. If you are feeling motivated, you're going to think motivating thoughts. But the thoughts are irrelevant. They're just a bunch of racket going on, and you discover this through meditation when you realize, and you've stepped back enough from your thoughts to realize that in the same day you can be completely angry and convinced of how awful the world is and how evil people are, how stupid they are, to being so optimistic and passionate and deciding that you're going to love people, that people are good and everybody's got a different way of seeing the world. And then you could crash again by the end of the day and be so fearful that you do something really rude to somebody because you're so scared of what might happen if you don't do that kind of thing. Like, your thoughts can go all over the place depending on the context underneath of how you're feeling. So you realize these things are useless. The thoughts are just completely pointless. So all you need to do is just start aiming the thoughts in a new direction. Aim them at what you want to think, which is going to be related to the state you want to feel in your life. So if you want to feel empowered, start training yourself to think empowering thoughts and aim in that direction, and you can stop taking all the fearful stuff seriously. Now, the third thing I got for you here, this is like part benefit and part just observation, and it is so important to understand it. When you meditate, you begin to realize that you are directly responsible for everything you find in your life. Everything that you see as wrong in your life is responsible from you. You are the problem in your life. If you could get out of your own way, probably everything would just go perfectly for you. And this is one of the powerful benefits of self-awareness. How often do people have this victim story that they are completely convinced of? They think there's nothing they could do differently. It is just something else's fault, whatever that subject is. Maybe it's they just want to be happy. They're like, oh, well, I just can't be happy until all these different things happen. But then you meditate for a while, you kind of learn to let go of your thoughts and just be in the present moment, and you realize that you're happy, and there is no prerequisite for your happiness. It was just you kept thinking negatively, and now you're happy now that you've stopped doing it. It was completely your choice. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's like you want to make a bunch of money, but right now you're not making a lot of money, and you become aware over time through meditation of the fact that it wasn't the government's fault that you weren't getting rich. It wasn't the job market's fault that you weren't getting rich. It was the way you were thinking about the situation that was causing you to not get rich, and the way you were acting and the way you saw yourself. People get rich at all times. There's people who've gotten rich during the Great Depression. People are getting rich right now. People got poor during like the roaring 80s when things were really moving, and the roaring 20s. Like, everybody can do whatever they want with any situation. You can get rich in bad times and you can go broke in great times. It's all about your mindset, and you start to recognize this and start to realize how everything you keep thinking about yourself and believing to be true about yourself manifests in how you act, and those actions lead to the results you get, and it's nobody's fault but your own. The fourth thing I want to touch on is the fact that you learn to step back from your feelings. All right, we've already talked about detachment from thought, but you also step back from your feelings. So many guys think they are at the mercy of their feelings. Everybody thinks this. They think, oh, I'm just in a bad mood. Well, you don't have to be in a bad mood. That's your choice. You are indulging in the bad mood. And once you meditate and realize you aren't the mood's just kind of occurring. It has nothing to do with you, and you could just choose to go in a different direction. You can literally tell yourself, once you realize there's that separation between you and the feelings, you can literally just say, I don't feel like feeling that right now. I don't want to be unhappy. Most people actually want to be unhappy, though, and this is something that you will also recognize over time through detachment, is you'll recognize, okay, I keep wanting to actually think negatively. I keep wanting to play the victim. We all don't think we want to, but you'll watch real quick that you do. And so once you've learned to step back from your feelings and then actually decide, I don't want to play this negative victim sadness game anymore and feeling all sorry and fearful. I don't want to play with that crap anymore. I want to go in this different direction. You can do it, and it's completely your choice, and you can basically get to a point where your feeling state about things is pretty much completely within your control. Now, obviously, like, it's like there are levels to this shit, right? I'm not saying like right now if everything in my life completely fell apart, I would just be like zenned out about it, but I am certainly way better at this than I used to be, and it's just over time you get better and better at realizing that you are the one in control control of how you're going to react to a situation. You don't have to be controlled by your feelings, your thoughts. It is completely within your control, just like everything else I've been discussing. And the fifth one really sums up everything that I've already touched here, and it is you realize you have increased conscious control over your life, right? You're not reactive, you become proactive in your life, in the responses you're going to have to situations and the choices you're going to have for the experiences of your life. You can kind of get off the hamster wheel. So many people spend decades of their lives basically doing the exact same things over and over and over again because they're just in a thought pattern that just keeps rolling in that direction. Once you step back, you can realize that, and you can make a choice for what you want to do with your life. You are not at the mercy of anything. And this really just sums up the greatest benefit to meditation, which is taking back your own power over your life from all the things that we blame the fact that we can't get what we want out of life on. We blame it on I'm big bone, that's why I can't get in good shape. The economy's bad, that's why I can't get rich. Oh, I'm short, that's why I can't get girls. There's just a story for everything. And you realize you can take back conscious control. You don't have to be a victim to your feelings, your thoughts, your beliefs. It is all within your power to make a new choice for what you're gonna be for yourself. And you can start that right here in this moment. You can stop playing that same story you've been playing forever. Now guys, if you got something out of this video, give me a like, hit the subscribe button and bell icon. If this video does well, I'll also make a video on how specifically I meditate if that's something that you're interested in. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.